bro.
What is going on?
Nothing much, man. How
was your week, man?
It was amazing. So I've been thinking about a few things that I've been wanting to do and thinking about doing. I'm thinking about becoming a fireman.
Oh, awesome.
A fireman. So there's many different paths that you can take in order to become a fireman, but I like it because I can go out and help people. And at the same time, I don't feel like that would be a burden for me. I think I could handle the emotional part of it. I would be fine, but I just always think about my wife. That's all.
Okay.
She's like, what if you die? And I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, I want to be able to take care of you too.
Yeah, absolutely. And even the idea of being a fireman is just like any type of public service where you're saying that you're willing to put yourself on the line.
That's very true.
For others. Not just something, but for other people.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a powerful thing.
Every time I go out, I would be responding to some situation where it could be somebody's last dying moment. Or I could just be helping someone out, or it could be a kid in a car accident, or it could be a fire, or it could be a cat stuck up in a tree.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
That would be great. The first,
a cat in a tree.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, it could be anything. But anytime I'm going out to risk my life. So, but that's okay with me. Hey, I'm cool. I'm cool with that. So how's your week going, man?
Week's been pretty good. It's been pretty
Mm-hmm.
good. I'll have to say it's been a long week. A lot of... Excuse me. I've been looking forward to a couple things at work, and due to kind of business needs and things like that, they've had to, kind of take things the polar opposite direction I was hoping. But
right.
I think it'll be all right. It's just going to be a long couple weeks. The term starts again where I teach, and next week. So, it'll be a lot, but I'm looking forward to it. This will be a true test of my mettle. It's a long week.
Yeah, I believe it, man. So another thing that's new with you this week is you were starting to take Alpha Brain.
Yes.
A supplement from tell everyone about it.
Yes, actually, I'm sitting here thinking about it. I actually didn't take it today, but it absolutely has been a great Alpha Brain.
Alpha Brain.
You'll find it at ONNIT.com.
JRE. He's great podcast. Just listen to it.
Of course, another shout out. The number one benefit that I have found, I see exactly when Joe Rogan talks about it, how he says that it helps you to formulate sentences better. I completely see that now.
Mm-hmm.
It is certainly if I were to compare it to just ginkgo biloba, I was taking ginkgo biloba also a little bit before starting off the plane. And if I were to say, if you have words on a page with that you're looking at, with ginkgo biloba, it's almost as though you zoom in a little bit. Like the letters are a little bigger. With Alpha Brain, the words are clearer. And they're a little more sharper, maybe in a better font.
Yeah.
A better font for the contrast, I guess.
Roboto of the mind.
Exactly, something. But it definitely, I see what he meant as in the words being clear is exactly where I wanted to go with it. So it was very interesting. I did have a couple days where, I took 2, I took 4, I took 3. But
what was the best dosage that ended up working for you? Have you found that, if you want to have a lucid dream, do you take 2? Do you take 1? Do you take 2, 3, 4? Because we know Joe Rogan, he says what? Like he takes 4.
Right.
Okay.
Prove
it.
There are several, actually, that brings up several different parts of it that I'll have to say that I really appreciate. But one of the main parts of it that I haven't fully analyzed, I'd say the lucid dream increase. I have definitely felt a little more intense twice. Took it one day, didn't even take it the next day, and I felt a little stronger lucidly dreaming, because I almost always lucidly dream, but it was definitely more intense, as they were saying. But also it brings about the subject of I really feel that it's not something that I would take every day.
Mm-hmm.
It is something that I would take for a purpose.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
I'm not just taking it in the morning when I have a mundane morning, or
it's not your coffee or your medication you have to take for high blood pressure, or
exactly. It's not a maintenance medication,
right?
So it definitely.
So, what would you say for you the benefits are? Like when you do take Alpha Brain, have you noticed anything differently? Have you noticed anything differently about how your mind works, how you see, how you feel things?
I can say, as far as grading schoolwork, I would have to say that has been one of the largest areas that I've seen the improvement.
Okay. What was difficult about that?
Well,
before you took
it gets
Alpha
repetitive.
Brain.
It gets repetitive, and even though you get a feeling as though, I have even more of the answer key memorized and keep going this. It is back and forth, and it's 1, 2, 3, A B B A C, A B B A C,
yeah.
D D C, A B A D C. You're trying to match it up, so it's it certainly has its assistance in helping the structuring of organization in your mind as you're addressing.
That makes sense to me, man.
It's very interesting how it worked too, because I'm very careful with convincing myself that something is having an effect that I'm looking for.
Right.
I'm pretty big on that placebo effect. I feel as though
it happens with people.
If I say
it happens to people.
If someone tells me something could work, I feel as though I could convince myself that it would work, and at least that very first time it will work. So, I'm very careful with it, and I felt that it did have an actual effect. Excuse me. It did let me know, like I said, that it's not something I'll take every day. Though, I'll have to say, I like taking it this way because, getting a bottle of 30, for example, if I'm taking 4 at a time, 3 or 4 at a time, that's multiple doses of that amount. And then I'm not actually having to... I'm not taking 2 a day to try to maintain something. I'm taking it as needed, and it seems to work as needed.
That makes sense to me.
I did it a few days in a row. It didn't seem as though the following days that it had lesser of an effect. So I felt it was good.
Yeah, that makes sense. We were. I was thinking about. I had taken ginkgo biloba before.
Yes.
And I had lucid dreams. I did have a lucid dream that was kind of very, it was very tangible in the way that it was, that I could see it. It was weird because I was out in, do you mind if I tell the story?
Go right ahead.
Oh,
awesome.
yeah. It was my dream, and it was I was in space, and for some reason, I had taken myself and we were on a spacewalk, and then I unhooked myself and I pushed myself off of what was it? I think it was the space station or something like that. And I just went off floating, and that was the rest of my dream. And I was like,
very gravity.
I didn't wake up. It was, and I had never seen Gravity until last week. Wow. I had this dream back in November of last year, and I had never seen Gravity until last week. And I was like, that movie was actually really good. I was with Gravity. I was still confused how they filmed it. You know what I mean? Have you seen it?
Yes. Actually, I have it downstairs.
Oh, you do, dude.
Yes.
How the heck did they film that movie?
It's all interpretive in my opinion. I mean, it's all in. This is how I would look in doing this situation, and they do have prompts and different methods. I'm sure that you'd probably be even more familiar with to kind of get the actor in the moment.
Right.
But it definitely, looking at the little bit of behind the scenes stuff that I've seen, I mean, it's just what you would kind of expect as far as movie magic.
Just a lot of green screen.
Right, but I mean that gives even more credence to the actors.
The Earth looked amazing. Yeah, it does, man. I was like, that makes sense why she was nominated for an Oscar, because she was amazing. She was good. I was like, huh. She's able to like cry through this, and it seems like it's one long take.
Yeah,
that's the illusion that movie gives you. It's one long take, and I was
good point.
How do they do that? But it's still just good editing and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Very
good point.
But yeah.
But that was probably the last movie that...
Just the last movie I saw. Yeah. Hunger Games. I saw the Hunger Games, Catching Fire.
I just saw that it was on
Catching
Prime.
Fire. Yeah, Catching Fire. It's good, man. It's good.
Oh gosh, I did plan on watching it. The premise of the original stood out to me as far as the... I guess it wasn't really clear. I probably have to read the books, which I probably won't. To really
just watch the movies. It's like
right.
It's so much easier to watch the movie.
Absolutely, but there were little things that I did like. The the veteran, Hunger Game winner that he told her,
Dude.
don't run after it. It's a death trap. Do not run straight in. You will die.
Right.
That's something so simple that was very important for them to include in the story.
Oh, very much so.
I hope that it's in the book because it's simple, but it says a lot.
Yeah.
And it literally could have, very likely saved her life. I mean, all the killing and massacre that happened then.
Mm-hmm.
And even the fact that they were obviously, on a team to go after her.
Mm-hmm.
To clear everybody out. I mean, it was pretty clear that they had some type of directive, and I like the behind story of all of that because they obviously had some type of understanding that it was not explained or taught into the other, into the other areas. So it was interesting. So I do look forward to seeing the second one to see what direction it goes.
It's good, man. We watched it, and have you seen this? We probably won't be able to play that. I don't want to play that, but it's the we'll probably get in trouble for playing.
No, but what is it? Just
it's the Catching Fire. The aspect ratio changes. Spoiler alert!
The aspect ratio changes.
The aspect ratio changes in the movie, and you can't. You can tell, but it's when one of her dress designers, he's going out, and he kind of gets. I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But the aspect ratio changes at this very pivotal point in the movie. It goes from 16:9 and it fills up the whole screen. And it's in like a transition, and she's going up and out into the arena place, and the aspect ratio changes when she gets out there. And I was like,
those things are cool.
Whoa.
I love when that happens.
Yeah, it was amazing. I'll have to show it to you, but that's it right there.
Okay.
Aspect ratio changes.
That's cool. I like things like that use cinema or even the act of recording as a tool. It's like, let me change your perspective. It's like the exact thing that happened with the Matrix movies. There have been cameras for a century, but the fact that they took a bunch of them and went around in a curved circle and did the whole...
The Matrix, yeah.
The Matrix lean back thing.
120 cameras to do that.
Yes. But it was using technology to do something unique and
That's
give a
very
different
true.
perspective. And
very true.
Even without seeing the behind the scenes, you recognize that scene in the movie, and I like that. I like it a lot.
Cool.
I really, really enjoy this.
So, do you want to talk a little bit about technology?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Some big things.
One thing we didn't have on the list is that I still want to look at a Sony Z2. Yes. I mean, dude, absolutely. Just the hype on that phone for me personally, the stuff that's been put out about it's waterproof. It's GSM phone. It's Sony. They have a nice screen. It's about 5 inches. I mean, the thing is waterproof up to 3 feet or something like that of water.
Absolutely.
Even the headphone jack. Sorry.
Well, I feel it's as a tool and stuff like that because the issue is that when I see evidence of it and then... once I get in my hands, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
I trust Sony to at least attempt a quality product.
Yeah. I love the PS3. Love the PS3.
Yes. And it's not that they always come through perfectly. They're not a perfect company.
Right.
But I trust that seems to be a level of quality that they pursue with all of their products. So, absolutely, if the...
Sorry, they're dogs.
Yes.
Hold on, give us 1 second. I'll talk about this. But Google is talking about doing a carrier service. This is found on TechCrunch.com, and Google is this morning. Sorry. It's okay. But it's a meeting between Google and Verizon officials, and it's probably a Google MVNO might happen. So, hey, Google might have their own cell phone service. That would be awesome if they could sell like a Nexus phone and could continue the Nexus line with LG or even Sony. If a Sony Google phone would be absolutely amazing. Just the waterproof and then having pure Google experience on your phone, there's nothing like it. That's how Google wants the phones to be. And I really like that, personally. Sounds like he's coming back. Yep.
Awesome neighbors, pretty much. They got some mail.
Oh, nice. And just returning mail.
I'm not going to destroy
an example of a good neighbor. So yeah, I was talking about this, and if Google would have made a Sony phone, that would be awesome. I think.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I would have to agree. Here's the thing: is Google already has a great, really corner of the market that if they're able to really start getting in their, their Google Fiber, if they're able to get that a little more widespread, they're pretty much laying the foundation for every other type of media, distribution service. So I think that wireless is a natural next step, and they have a possibility of doing it pretty well.
It would be amazing if they could do that. Yeah. Oh, you want to talk about something else?
Yes. Probably on the wireless spectrum topic. It's a company. I want to look up this guy's exact name because he seems to be pretty cool. Let's see. Steve Perlman. Wireless. Well, the title of the article is pretty corny, but if you look at the overall premise is that this wireless cell phone service would be 1,000 times faster than 4G LTE that you see with a lot of the current carriers. And the way it looks
is
for
that 4K.
It absolutely can. It can affect everything about bandwidth. I mean, even as the different type of media services increase and expand since the advent of the internet, more bandwidth means more ideas, more possibilities, more you can do. I mean, YouTube wasn't possible on the 56K because if you're letting something buffer for 30 minutes, it's not as quick and interesting and up to date feeling.
Yeah,
but. This is very interesting because what I've seen is some of it is able to use line of sight telecommunication directing. So even if the immediate, I guess, pod or box is, getting overloaded, it can direct it to another one that's not in line of sight even. And then
so it's almost kind of like the BitTorrent of Wi-Fi networks.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. Very good way of putting it. Your phone is able to, essentially using less power apparently, which is always good. Will torrent in signal and data services. So yes, I think it's good. And using individual units like that means that repairs would be easier. It's cheaper overhead. So I actually really do like the idea of a P-cell. Of what they're calling it, the company, or not the company, something else, but the type of service is P-cell. But overall, I do like it. I think it just has a nice under the radar type of feel, as far as something that looks like it could really work. So I look forward to seeing it.
It looks neat, man. It looks like it'd be really neat. I think it's interesting because of the fact that we'd be sharing a signal. I wonder how that would work. With like collecting information, like somebody has to collect that information. It's a lot of information going through there.
Collect in what way? My first thought is actually that you would only have to direct it to like end user.
That's true.
Which I know it's a naive point of view, but that's my first thought as far as how what you would need as far as to do it. Unless you're the NSA, then of course you're going to be recording all of it. So but
right.
If you're talking about just directing, point A to point B, I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly how that works.
Okay.
But I look forward to finding out. Is kind of the main point because it's interesting.
Very interesting.
Very cool. And apparently they're saying by the end of 2015 they'll be able to roll out into most of the major markets. So they're really thinking that it's going to be cheap to implement and work well. Not too many snafus in the deployment, which is great for any project.
That's very true.
Commendable. But yes, sounds pretty cool. I like it. The Do you think that you will go to see Captain America?
I've heard good things about it. I've heard excellent things about it. So people are saying it's one of the best movies they've seen in a really long time. So I don't know. I don't know.
I will eat up this propaganda because my issue is I've never been a Captain America fan. Never got into the comics. Never really cared for him at all. But every single I saw one day in syndications one of the older Captain America movies when I was young, and I watched it kind of by accident, and I realized I'm still watching this movie. This is really good. This is even about Captain America. This is just a good story.
Yeah,
that's
it's a good story.
Every Captain America I've ever seen has been consistent with that. I mean, the two I've seen, but I look forward to seeing if this one maintains it because
we should go watch it.
I think it'd be great. I think it's going to be good, and it kind of burns me up a little bit that everybody is saying it's good because I want to judge it impartially, but very likely I'll enjoy it, and I look forward to that.
Okay.
I think that's a very good CastApod field trip.
CastApod field trips. That'll be our next segment in the future, hopefully. But yeah.
Any other movies you're getting while just on the topic?
No, man.
I'm actually kind of excited for
the last thing that I watched was Gravity. It was Gravity, and it was a good movie. Like some of the things I could see what Neil deGrasse Tyson was talking about. There was one point where she flipped over a book in it, and it was just like you could tell that gravity just pulled it down, and you're like, because she let it go. Because if you let it go in space, it's kind of just going to go and kind of hang there.
It'll just be there.
Yeah,
it's not
but she was like,
yeah. It's funny because I didn't. Okay, first of all, I'm not caliber of scientific astrophysicist to any account as Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson. But
heck no.
It's weird because
I do not know what the heck I'm talking about.
You do kind of notice that the satellites and everything are orbiting backwards. It was weird.
That is true. It should be going the other way.
Right, and you can't put your finger on it, but something doesn't look right. And then I was like, something is weird. And why is it spinning the Earth that way and the satellite moving that way? It was interesting.
Oh, it was going around like this. But in space, there's no up, down, left, or right when you think about it, though, when you go in space.
Not locally.
Unless you look on a plane. Like, what plane?
Well, the reason I say not locally is because if you're going to have some type of gravitational effect. Just like the Earth is circling around the sun, that means that even at the distance from the sun, there's still some effect from on the Earth from the sun.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't necessarily have like a great... You're not going to have, a 20 feet up type of effect of you're going to fall 20 feet or even a mile up and falling for 4 minutes or whatever it is. So
stuff moves so much faster in space too.
Yeah,
that's the thing about it. Like friction. There's no friction.
That's one of the coolest things. I remember I got extra credit on a physics. We're having a discussion in physics in high school, even in senior high school, and they definitely. Well, the teacher, I think he just had a lapse and he forgot it or something. But, he said, I'll give extra credit to whoever figures this out. And I was like, well, this kind of makes sense. And essentially he was trying to see how the slingshot effect even worked. Because if you're coming in at a certain speed, you would have to leave at, an equal amount of energy. Where's the energy lost or where's it gained? But, he was, he just wasn't accounting for the actual movement of everything. Because in some versions of the slingshot effect, as you're moving, if this is, can you hold this up?
Oh, yeah.
If this right here is the planet, and you're coming, and the planet is moving that way, and your satellite or whatever ship is coming in this way, this is the tightest way to do it because it's constantly moving towards you as you're coming around. But as you come around one side of it, at least in this little small measure of an example, the planet is moving that way, while the satellite is moving that way. So your actual gravity is decreasing significantly as you move that further away from it in the satellite or ship. So it just made sense. But it's things like that are so interesting.
Yeah. Very much so. There's a YouTube video. You ever seen Gravity Visualized? It's by a science teacher. He shows them. Dan Burns is his name. It's on YouTube. I'm pretty sure you'd show this. Like it's, been viewed 2 million times.
Almost 3.
Let's see if we're getting any volume from this.
No, I have it muted down here.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
And objects are not feeling a force of gravity. They're just following the natural curvature. And so this is a sheet of Lycra. Where do you get this? This is my old bike shorts. Feel that curvature and move.
There we go.
warp space-time.
Mass in space and how they move closer together.
Right.
Okay?
Yep, that's exactly it. All right, there you go.
Objects warp space-time, feel that curvature, and move.
Yeah,
It's really cool.
Yeah.
He does some other stuff that shows
And
how
if you have
kind of
more
gravity
mass,
works.
Cool.
right there.
And I love it. And I like how it makes sense to an extent because if you have, well, just even the way they describe time and space, if you describe time and space kind of on a graph, it makes sense that if you were to even assess gravity as just a relationship between the two, that they would just have some type of effect together,
Right.
whatever it is.
Right.
What do I know? But it definitely, it's just makes sense that there would be some type of reaction. So
Yeah, that makes sense,
very
man.
interesting. And I like people putting out videos like
Yeah,
this.
it's amazing. Just
it's
the
so
technology that we have to be able to do the things like we're doing now. Like we're putting stuff out to the world. We're putting our personalities. We're putting what we think. We're putting stuff we're interested in out there on the world.
Yes.
There's been no other time where it's been like this, and it's amazing. So, but for right now, dude, I think this is a good episode.
Absolutely. We do want to, on the way out, we do want to say that we do have a couple of shows, a couple of different interviews, and a couple of things coming. So
just stay tuned. We
yes.
just have to just get the time and, dude. Yeah,
we'll
be out there and we'll do the things that you guys want to see, and
we have a lot of inspiration.
Go the places you guys want to go.
Is a big one.
So
yes, thank you for letting us into your YouTubes, and see you next time.
We'll see you next time.
Hopefully a little better.
See you guys.
Thank you.